Morning. Welcome to the SBC Daily Word for Thursday, July 1st, the first day of July. It seems as though those first couple of months of summer just crawl by, and then we get to July and 4th of July weekend, and now it's going to start picking up with its busyness. But for our SBC Daily Word, we're going to be looking at the rest of Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verses 13 through 29. If I was to summarize this passage, it would be this way: don't pursue wisdom as a way of finding autonomous control of our lives. So, again, as things kind of slow down and get less conflicted for the people of God after the exile, and they have time to pursue wisdom and learning, the wisdom of Solomon is taken by the teacher here, and we are reminded, don't let wisdom become a means by which you short circuit or skip God in the equation because you really just want to live an independent life. So this text kind of wants to humble us in a gracious way to understand, excuse me, that wisdom is not greater than God, that ultimately wisdom needs to be something that we pursue in submission to God. So to kind of humble things down, he gives us this blanket truth in verses 13 and 14. Consider the work of God, who can make straight what he has made crooked. In the day of prosperity, be joyful, and in the day of adversity, consider. God has made the one as well as the other, so that mortals may not find out anything that will come after them. So there is this trajectory of time and history where God is continuing to remind us that he is the creator and he created all things out of nothing, and we must never forget that I-thou relationship, that creator-creature distinction. So there's this order to things, but then here's a difficult observation in verse 15. In my vain life, I have seen everything. There are righteous people who perish in their righteousness, and there are wicked people who prolong their life in their evil doing. Even though there is a certain wisdom-informed order to life, it cannot be predictable. Just like Jesus said, God sends rain on the just and on the unjust. Blessings do not equate righteousness. So now, having given us a truth and a difficult observation about life being unpredictable, now he's going to give us some counsel. Again, he wants us to refrain from making choices motivated by this desire to control the outcome. 16 to 18. Do not be too righteous and do not act too wise. Why should you destroy yourself? Do not be too wicked and do not be a fool. Why should you die before your time? It is good that you should take hold of the one without letting go of the other, for the one who fears God shall succeed with both. There is a certain balance to life here. There is this certain of exhortation to not give ourselves to pursuing righteousness out of this desire to control the outcome, to make choices and to think, if I make this choice, God's hand will be forced to do this. Beloved, that just turns God into this downstairs butler who we only relate to him when we feel like he has something we need that he has. So now there's more explanation here in verses 19 to 22. Wisdom gives strength to the wise, more than 10 rulers that are in a city. Surely there is no one on earth so righteous as to do good without ever sinning. Do not give heed to everything that people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you. Your heart knows that many times you yourself have cursed others. All this I have tested by wisdom. I said, I will be wise, but that is far from me. So as he continues to explain the limits of wisdom, when we seek wisdom to be a way to pass God, he wants us to know wisdom is effective, but it's not enough because ultimately there isn't anyone who through wisdom has found what can only be received by the grace of God. So now jump down to verses 25 to 29. This is kind of a summary. I turned my mind to know and to search out and seek wisdom and the sum of things, and to know that wickedness is folly and foolishness is madness. I found more bitter than death the woman who is a trap, whose heart is snares and nets, whose hands are fetters. One who pleases God escapes her, but the sinner is taken by her. See, this is what I found, says the teacher, adding one thing to another to find the sum, which my mind has sought repeatedly, but I have not found. One man among 1,000 I found, but a woman among all these I have not found. See, this alone I found, that God made human beings straightforward, but they have devised many schemes. So there's kind of this wisdom in recognizing that me, even in my own humanity, am so enslaved to sin that I must never think that I have it all figured out. That God is the one who can take the crooked path and make it straight. That God is the one who made all things out of nothing, and I am not him. So there's this anthropological humility that says, I am human, God is God, therefore he is the one who has it figured out. So the wisest thing I can do is not pursue wisdom as an end in and of itself, but instead to pursue God. Beloved, arrogant wisdom is not wisdom at all. In Job 42, Job gets to the place where in his anger and in his arrogance, he thinks he has a case to make against God, because Job is not aware of what the narrator is aware of and what the reader is aware of, that it's not God who has been doing these things to him, it is Satan who has been doing things to him. So Job has this arrogant wisdom, and God comes to him and says, were you there when I laid the foundations of the earth? Were you there when this was made and this was made? Were you there when I put the land here and told the ocean it could come up unto where the land is? So Ecclesiastes is about wisdom, 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 but ultimately wisdom that is first of all humble. In this genre in scripture of wisdom literature, the most foolish person is the person who thinks he or she has all the answers. The fool is the one who never asks questions. Winston Churchill said, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Beloved, can I encourage you to pursue the type of wisdom that says, I'm willing to listen to somebody, even if I think I vehemently disagree with them. I'm willing to sit and listen and perhaps show me things that I was not aware of, and perhaps even open up for me some blind spots that I was not aware I had. Beloved, wisdom is a worthy pursuit, but it must be secondary to our pursuit of God. John's Gospel, Paul's letter to the Colossians, and letter to the Hebrews all say Christ is the true wisdom from God. Beloved, find the good and wise life by following Jesus. May grace and peace and everything good be yours in King Jesus.